important that we are practicing our writing skills with capitalization and punctuation, making complete sentences and things like that. So we're going to do a little bit of practicing with that at the end of class for your breakout activity. Do I have any volunteers that want to read this story to us? All right, Stacy, you've got the mic and the webcam. Go ahead and read this story to us, please.
Move carefully couch out the bag of marbles on his bed. He picked his 10 favorite marbles and put them inside of his special pouch. Then he safely into his backpack. Loved show and tell days, but he was even more excited to show his class some of his favorite marbles.
Awesome job, Stacy. There is your contributor badge. All right. So from the story that Stacy read to us, Lou is really excited about show and tell. He has his 10 favorite marbles inside his backpack pouch, and he was going to show some of his class's favorite marbles. So when you are looking at which one best summarizes the story, you have A, Lou is getting his marbles ready for show and tell. B, Lou has a lot of marbles. Or C, marbles are fun to play with. Do I have any volunteers that want to tell us your answer and why you chose that? All right, Lemuel, you've got the mic and webcam. Which one was the best answer choice here, and why do you think that?
A, because you like show and tell.
Very good, Lemuel. There is your contributor badge, and I love how you're using that webcam. So as you can see from our polling tools, we had 8 friends that chose A, 1 friend that chose C, and 5 friends that didn't answer. But the majority of the class chose A, and that is correct because the whole passage, even though it was about his marbles and that he liked to play with marbles, the main idea and the one that best summarizes this passage would be that he's getting his marbles ready for show and tell. And I think almost everybody that answered chose A. So great job. Give yourself a round of applause for that. All right, moving on. We are, like I said, continuing to talk about how to summarize a story, talking about what it means to summarize a story and finding the important details and events in a story. Remember, when you are retelling something, I'll let y'all read this. Anybody want to read what it means to retell? Raven, I'm going to give you the mic. Read the retell box for us. You might be having some mic issues. Raven, we'll come back to you. Kenneth, will you read the retell box to us?
Tell the story again. Use the author's words. Add as many details as possible.
Awesome job, Kenneth. And I love how y'all are using that webcam. I don't know why mine's not working this morning. It has a big line through it. I'll try to fix that by the end of class. But so when you're retelling, you're basically using the author's words. You're not using your own words. And you're adding as many details as possible. When you summarize something, it's different. Anybody want to read the summarization part to us? All right, Rourke, you have the mic and webcam. Will you read this box to us, please?
Tell only the most important events of the story, but events in your own words. Keep in mind the big idea of what the story is mostly about.
Very good. There is your contributor badge. All right, so you're basically, when you're summarizing, you are putting them in your own words. So here's a big difference. You're using the author's words in your retell, and when you summarize, you're using your own words. You're keeping in mind the big idea. So the big idea is basically just the main idea. So you're thinking, what was the whole story mostly about? All right, what do they both have in common? Any new volunteers there? Tell us what they both have in common. And Rourke, there is your contributor badge for reading that to us. All right, Natalie, you've got mic and webcam. Tell us what they both have in common.
Only use details from the text. Keep the details in the correct order.
Great job, Miss Natalie. There's your contributor badge as well. All right, so when you're retelling or summarizing, the only things that they have in common is you are using details from the text to tell the story again or to put in your own words. And you're also keeping the details in order. So what happens at the beginning, the middle, and the end, you're keeping those things in order. We're going to read a story together called Needs and Wants, and then do a little summary of that as a class after we read the story.
So today's lesson will be on the simple summary. Go from this to this in less than 5 minutes. So, before we begin summarizing, the first thing we need to know is what exactly is summarizing? Well, summarizing is giving a short statement of the important points. That's all. We're just taking all of the extra stuff out. Why is it important? Well, summarizing allows us to restate key information, not really little details, but key information in a way that is short and it's in order. So you say, all right, so how do I do this summarizing thing? Okay, well, as it turns out, it's actually pretty easy. So what you're going to do is use the 5 fingers in 5 words or less in less than 5 minutes method. This is pretty awesome. So you want to take a look at your hand. Your hand is important here. And I've drawn a big one for us here. Okay, and with your fingers, you do the who, the what, the when, the where, the why, and then in the palm, the how. So, step 1, I write who was in this story in 5 words or less. Okay, I write what happened in the story in 5 words or less. This one's going to be the hardest one to do in 5 words or less. When it happened in 5 words or less. You can probably get this one in 3 words. Where it happened in 5 words or less. Again, you can probably get this one in 1 to 2 words. And step 5, write why it happened in 5 words or less. That one's going to be a tricky one. It'll take you probably close to all 5 words. And step 6, write how it happened in 5 words or less. Again, that one's probably going to take you your 5 words. So, after all of that, put 5 minutes on a timer. That's all the time you have. And then you begin this. What next? Next, you're going to write a 1 to 3 sentence summary, okay, using your words to explain what happened in the text. Okay, so now what? I've got my 1 to 3 sentences. If you have 25 words or more, your summary is too long. So you're going to have to cut out details, all right? Just details, not main stuff. And then you will be sure to make your summary no more than 20 words long. If you've done all that, congrats! You just made a summary using the 5 fingers in 5 words or less in less than 5 minutes. Congratulations. I'll see you in class.
But looking at the title of the page and these pictures here, I want you to come and type on the board, what do you predict this story is going to be about? You should see those whiteboard tools. So come on and tell me what you predict the story will be about. I'm going to give you just about 1 minute. Make sure you're using that typing tool and not the one that you draw with so that everybody has plenty of room to write, okay? Just a few more seconds to type what you predict the story is going to be about. All right, if you would like to share your response of what you predict the story is going to be about, raise your hand. I'll let you come on the mic real quick. All right, Miss Natalie, what do you predict the story is going to be about?
A boy eating food, because it shows a boy eating food.
Okay, because the picture shows that. I love how you're using that webcam. Awesome. All right, so somebody eating food. Lemuel, what do you predict the story is going to be about?
He's going to need something and he wants something. He needs something and he wants something.
Very good.
The story title is Need and Want.
I love that. You're referring to that title to make your prediction, something that he's needing versus something that he's wanting. A need would obviously be food, right? So we're needing food. All right, let's go ahead and dive into the story and start reading. If you would like to volunteer to read to the class today, raise your hand. All right, Brayden, you've got mic and webcam. Will you read this first page to us, please?
We need all need the things to we need food, water, and air. We need a home, we and living to.
Great job, Brayden. All right, so the first page, like Brayden read to us, is talking about things that we need. Not technically things that we want, but that we need. We need food, we need water and air, you need home and clothing. All right, so let's get into the next page. Lemuel, you've got mic and webcam. Will you read this one to us? And Brayden, there was your contributor badge.
We all want toys.
Things.
Things. We want things to
That
might
all right.
us
Happy.
we want
Very good, Lemuel. So let Lemuel read to us. We all want things that make us happy, things that are fun, like toys and things like that. So let's go and read this page here. Miss Natalie, you've got mic and webcam.
Ella needs water to drink. She wants a glass of lemonade.
Very good. All right, so here is we're talking about Erin, and she's needing water to drink, but she's wanting a glass of lemonade. So it said earlier, a need that we all have would be to things to eat and drink, right? But she wants lemonade. All right, Caleb, you've got mic and webcam. Will you read this page to us?
John needs food to eat. He wants and stuff for dinner.
Awesome job, Caleb. All right, so he needs food, but he's wanting some pasta. It looks like spaghetti maybe for supper. All right, Roar, will you read this page to us, please? You've got mic and webcam. And Caleb, there's your contributor badge.
Erin needs a warm coat for the winter. She wants a long red coat.
Awesome job, Rourke. There's you, another contributor badge. All right, so another need versus want here. She needs a warm coat, but she wants a long red one. All right, continue reading on. Let's see, Jocelyn.
Robbie needs air to breathe. He wants someone to fly his kite. Aaron needs to stay safe while the storm. She wants to go under her bed.
Great job, Jocelyn. There's your contributor badge. All right, so again, coming back up to Jacob, he needs air to breathe, but he's wanting some wind to fly his kite. And here, Erin wants to stay safe from the storm, but she wants to go under her bed. So she didn't have to go under her bed. That was something that she wanted or chose to do. All right, continue reading here. Stacy, you've got mic and webcam.
Jacob needs a ring to go to get to school. He wants a new bike.
Very good. All right, so again, he didn't have to have that bike. That was a want that he had. Kenneth, you've got mic and webcam. Will you come and read this bottom part to us, please?
Erin needs to read a book for school. She wants to read a funny book.
Awesome job. I love how y'all are using these webcams. All right, last page. Brayden, you've got the mic and webcam. Will you read this page to us?
What's your kind of bike do you want? Do you really need those things?
All right, awesome job. So think of some things that you might want, not necessarily need, and think, do you really need those things? Remember, we just need water and air. Even though it's fun to have toys and things to play with, those aren't really a need for us to have. And I tell you this story too because while we're all having to be kind of quarantined inside our house, think of things that you might want to do, or things that you're not able to do right now for having to be home. But remind yourself those are just wants. You don't really have to have those things. Right now, just being at home, being safe, you can still play outside and watch some movies, take advantage of this time of being at home. All right, so imagine that you had to tell a friend a summary of this story we just read, Needs and Wants. What would you say to them? How would you summarize this story that we just read? I want everybody to at least write one sentence summarizing the story in a green space. And I chose green because, again, it's St. Patrick's Day. All right, so you should use those whiteboard tools, and I want you to come on the board and type at least one sentence summarizing the story that we just read. And if you would like to share after you type, you can raise your hand. And I will let y'all come on the mic and share your responses.
What?
And again, guys, make sure you're using the typing tool, not the one that you write with, just so everybody has space to write, okay? And if you would like to share your response after you type it, just raise your hand and I'll give you that mic. All right, Kenneth, what would you say if you had to summarize this story?
I would say that a boy wanted something, but he didn't really need it. But he got it, but he didn't really need what he got.
Okay, very good. So a boy trying to decide what needs versus wants. All right, great job. Stacey, what would you say the summary of this story would be? Oh, there's your mic, Stacey.
I want my phone to be happy.
Okay, so you put something that you want. Very good. Instead of summarizing the story, you put a want. You want your family to be happy. I think that's something we all would agree on. Brayden, if you had to summarize this story, what would you say?
Your needs is more important than your wants.
Love that one. Your needs are way more important than your wants. And I think that, again, is a great reminder right now for us as we are quarantined inside that what you need is right here at your house. You need your family and food and water, and I think this will all teach us a lesson in the long run of being aware of things that we really need versus things that we just want to have. So I love that one. All right, just a few more. Natalie, what would you say if you had to summarize this story?
If I was in the story, I would say you need a bed to go to sleep in to talk.
Okay, so instead of summarizing, you just put something that you would need. All right, anybody else want to summarize the story for us? I love this one right here. The story is about a couple of kids learning about needs versus wants. Lemuel typed that one. Michael said, I need food. Jessica said, I want a toy. Very good. Needs versus wants there. Caleb said, the things we need and the things we want will be a good summary. All right, great job. Before we before we go into breakout rooms to do a writing activity, and Brayden, do we have class tomorrow? That is kind of still up in the air. We are still waiting to hear back from our head of school. We had a meeting yesterday, but really didn't learn anything new. So hopefully by the end of the day, we'll be sending an email out to y'all letting you know if we are having to form complete sentences and details in a text. So we're going to do a little writing activity. You're just going to write 5 sentences about what you plan to do over spring break. So just tell me things that you're going to do at home with your family. You can tell me things that you were going to do before we all